Hey guys, it's Miss Arlequin, and in this video we are going to talk about logical reasoning questions. Specifically, we're going to focus on questions that are verbal deduction questions. Alright, so verbal deduction questions give you 3 or 4 carefully worded statements that describe a hypothetical situation. Basically, a hypothetical situation is a situation that isn't real, but it could be. And then based on the given information, you're asked what must be true. So this is a very common question type, especially on the specialized high school test. The key to this type of question is you want to work just with the information you've been given. You don't want to use too much of real-world prior knowledge. You don't necessarily need to deal with what could logically be true in the real world. For example, if the question says that people can fly, we know that in real life people can't fly on their own without the help of machines. However, if the question is telling you that that is a true statement, then you're going to use logic based on that truth. You don't want to make any unwarranted assumptions, so just because it says people can fly, I don't want to then assume that the name of somebody listed is a person, and then that means that they can fly as well. I want to basically also just find what 100% has to be true based on what I've told, not what might be true. Just because something might be true doesn't mean that it's true in this particular situation. Alright, so I'm going to look at the first problem. And I'm going to see what I'm dealing with. What are the statements that I know are 100% true? Jill sees that Blythe has only peanut butter in her cupboard. Jill concludes that Blythe must be between jobs. Given no other information, which of the following statements must be true in order for Jill's conclusion to be valid? Alright, so what do I know? I know that Blythe only has peanut butter in her cupboard. Does that mean that she likes peanut butter? Not necessarily. That would be an unwarranted assumption. And I know that Jill is using the knowledge of that there's only peanut butter there to say that Blythe must be between jobs. She's basing that conclusion on the fact that there's only peanut butter. Alright, so this is going to be a lot of just process of elimination, going through each of the answer choices and seeing which ones might be true but doesn't necessarily mean they are. I also need to connect each of the answer choices to the information that I already know from the question. Blythe has been between jobs in the past. Okay, that might be true. If she's been between jobs in the past, does that mean that in the past she's only had peanut butter in her cupboards? Maybe, but I don't know that 100% based on what I've been told. So I'm going to eliminate that. That only might be true. Blythe's cupboard is usually quite full. That could be true. If it's usually quite true, would that necessarily mean that she's usually has a job? Or that she only has her cupboard full when she has a job? Not necessarily. I mean, she could be out of a job and still have a full cupboard. So I don't think this can be true. This might be true, but not 100%. Blythe's cupboard would contain just peanut butter only if she were between jobs. Okay. If this was 100% true, would that make Jill's conclusion correct? Yeah, it would. Because if she was working and she would usually have a full cupboard, and it's only if she wasn't working that she would just have peanut butter, that would validate the statements in the question. So this is probably the answer, but just like with any kind of process of elimination, you want to read through all the answer choices. Blythe usually consumes a lot of food that would be stored in a cupboard. Okay, that could be true. But where's the connection between her being in or out of work? There is none. So this cannot be the correct answer. Jill believes that Blythe should find a new job. I don't know if she believes that. I don't know really anything about Jill's opinions, only that she has drawn a conclusion that Blythe is out of work. So this can't possibly be true. It's an opinion, and there's nothing to support any opinion in the question. So our answer has to be C. This is the only one that is 100% true, and that makes the statements in the question 100% true. So as you can see, I went through each of the answer choices. I used logical reasoning. I really thought about the connections between the answer choices and the question statements, and I looked for what was 100% true, not what might be true. Let's try one more. The smartest girl in the junior class can read 7 books in 1 week. Christine can read 4 books in 1 week. Okay. So just from that information, I can definitely tell that Christine is not the smartest girl in the junior class because she's only reading 4 books. There's only 2 people that I know about in this question, the smartest girl and Christine. Okay. Christine is not a member of the junior class. She might not be. However, I can't know that 100%. She could be, and she just could be a junior who's not the smartest girl. Christine is not the smartest girl in the junior class. All right, I reasoned that out from just looking at the question, so this could be the answer, but I'm going to keep going. The ability to read books is related to intelligence. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't necessarily want to use real-world prior knowledge. However, I can't help it. And I do know that in real life, people who are not the smartest can sometimes read more books than people who are smarter than them. But even if I don't use real-world knowledge, this doesn't necessarily tell me anything. Christine could be smart. She's just not the smartest. Doesn't mean that she's not smart, based on the information given. Other members of the junior class can read more than 7 books in 1 week. Yeah, that is possible. It just says that the smartest girl can read 7. Does that mean that other members aren't reading more as her? This is kind of related to H, where I eliminated H because I said you don't necessarily have to be the smartest to read the most books. Somebody who's not as smart could read more, and this is the same thing. Other people who are not as smart as the smartest girl could be reading more books than her, but I don't know for a fact if that's true. The smartest girl in the junior class can read more than any other girl in the class. Again, this is the same kind of reasoning as H and J. Just because she's the smartest girl and she's reading 7, nowhere in the question does it say she's reading the most books. There could be somebody who's reading 10 books who isn't as smart as her. You know, maybe they're reading Captain Underpants. The number of books, we don't even know what kind of books they are. So the only 100% must be true is G.